Welcome to Secrets of the Wandering Wolf. I'm your host, Tom, the Wandering Wolf, and today is episode 4 of the Wisdom Wednesday series. And before I begin, I'd like to say thank you for joining, showing up, tuning in, and listening from wherever you are, whenever you are. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. I know that I did. Now, today I'd like to talk about where I believe wisdom comes from. And that comes from this little formula I like to say is knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. Knowledge is the accumulation of the study, of the learning, of sitting with teachers, of going back to school, of the self-study, of all the books, of all of the podcasts and lectures and whatnot. And experience is the act of doing everything you learned over time. And so when you combine the two of them, where instead of just going out and doing it, learning it the hard way, you apply the knowledge you've gained into what you're already doing. A good example of this would be getting an internship when you're in college. You're going to school, let's say for business, and let's say it's management or marketing, and you're going and working for a company as an intern while you're studying, while you're learning and applying what you've learned to what you're doing.
Now, during this experience of being the intern and working for an actual company while also learning from teachers who are just teaching, you do learn what works and what doesn't. And the only way you'll ever know if something works or doesn't work is by being in that field, being in the space that you're going to utilize the knowledge and turn it into skill. When it comes to spiritual practices and applying the knowledge from books, from teachers, from gurus, from masters, you won't know if it works until you are in the field or you are in your spiritual practice. You don't know if a meditation is going to work until you do the meditation a handful of times. And often you have to do it more than you think in order to see the results. You'll have to do it longer than you expected to finally realize, oh, this was actually working the whole time. I just didn't have enough time under my belt to know where, when, and why it was working. And that's kind of how that formula works for me. Now, during that time learning the aspects of that formula, especially in my spiritual practice over the last several years, I found that it's very important that you focus on one area at a time and you master it as much as possible. Seeking knowledge just to seek knowledge without the experience behind it will have you wandering aimlessly through the bookstores, aimlessly through classes and podcasts, listening to anyone and everyone. When I buckled down and decided that, okay, I'm going to learn the runes. I'm not going to worry about astrology. I'm not going to worry about tarot. I'm not going to worry about this manifesting thing. I'm not going to worry about all the different meditation techniques. I'm not going to worry about all of the extra exciting trends that we saw all over social media for the past decade. I knew in this one area, I was going to study it, I was going to learn it, and I was going to figure out who were the authorities on it and run with it. I did the same thing for my shamanic practice. I found techniques that worked for me. I stuck with them. I brought them to my circles. I brought them to the one-on-ones. I brought them into the plant medicine journeys where I knew I was not going to have full control. I knew that my level of control would be very minimal, especially sitting with something like ayahuasca. And I had a handful of techniques that I knew during those ceremonies I would find out if they worked or not. And most of them were to keep me safe, keep me clean, keep me cleansed, and not worry about anything extra happening other than the adventure that the medicine would take me on. It's important to buckle down on whatever it is that you're trying to do and not get distracted. That's when the formula will actually start working. And for just a moment, I want you to see where this formula has applied in your life. Have you spent a good amount of time on something? Or maybe you spent an ungodly amount of time on something that brought you to such a deeper understanding in a topic, in an area, on a hobby, that other people want to know what you know because they can't seem to find that in anywhere else. That is where I feel you can find the true essence of this formula. Now, the other aspect of this that I wanted to share and talk about was the idea that knowing enough is enough. Earlier, I mentioned that I buckled down, in that I focused on specific areas to achieve where I'm at now. During that time, I read this stanza from the Havamal, which is stanza 54, and it says, "You should be only a little wise, never too wise. The happiest people throughout their lives are those who know just enough." And when I was younger, I thought that was a crock of shit. No way. There's no way you can just know. There's no way you can just know enough and be okay with that. There's so much out there. And I had such a lust for wanting to learn more. It made me miserable. I stopped enjoying the journey to learn. I did it out of discipline because I knew in order for me to hold proper space, I had to keep learning. I had to keep gaining the experience. I had to keep doing all the things. And I was sitting and meditating and praying and being by the altar, and I said, I need something. And I opened the book, and I had starred this stanza. And I hadn't opened the Havamal in probably a year or so. And that was the first thing that came up, was stanza 54. You should be only a little wise, never too wise. The happiest people throughout their lives are those who know just enough. And that's when it hit me. Oh, I'm overindulging in the idea that I have all the books, I have all the wisdom, I have all the knowledge. It's all right here. And yet they're collecting dust on the shelf. Because in actuality, I didn't need all of them. Now, anybody who knows me knows I love my books and I'm not getting rid of them. Because at some point I will read them. But I know that I can read them for fun. I know that I can sit and learn new things for fun. Because they're not going to take me away from what I do know. And with that, I leave you with the formula. Knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. I leave you with stanza 54. So that when you're getting overwhelmed or you feel there's too much weight on your shoulders, let it go. It's okay to know just enough. Thank you for joining me on another Wisdom Wednesday episode. I look forward to the next one. And you can find more of what I'm doing and where I'm at by following the links down below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you are listening to me on YouTube. And I'd like to say thank you again for listening to Secrets of the Wandering Wolf.